with full coverage of the Auburn Tigers,
Touchdown, Auburn!
the Alabama Crimson Tide,
Off to the inside, intercepted Alabama. Touchdown!
and everything college and high school sports. Now, let's join Andy, Brett, Randy, and Luke for this edition of Sports Blitz Live.
Good Saturday morning out there to everybody, and welcome into the Sports Blitz Saturday Sports Countdown presented by JR Sports Bar and Grill and Sunshine Heating and Air. Glad to have you join us this Saturday morning. We'll be with you for 2 hours, as we always are. You can jump in and give us a call, 256-234-6221, if you'd like to be on the show as far as any comments, questions, anything you got on your mind. Right now, you can also comment away on Facebook Live. We stream it live every time we go on the air. Sports Blitz, sports with a Z. Most of you know that already by now, but if you're new to it, we'd love to have you join us on Facebook Live. You comment throughout the entire show. Randy, good to see you on a good Saturday morning. It's a little cool out there as we've had some pretty hot weather going in. We ain't really had a little transitional spring, but this may be the last little bit of a cool spell that we get as we head into the summer, man.
Probably so. All week has felt like summer months out there
yeah.
working outside, and hopefully a lot of you got an opportunity to do that. I walked out of my house this morning, and the boats were whipping around, Brett. So fishing tournaments going on Lake Martin. I don't know that they ever end.
No, they don't.
But it seemed like a pretty big one going on out there this morning, if I'm right.
Yeah, there's one every
Can't
weekend.
keep up with it.
Yeah, the high school association's on Logan Martin today. So our group is up there fishing. It's the first one I hadn't been captain of during the spring tournament, but looking forward to seeing how our guys do up there. 197 senior division boats in that one today on Logan Martin. And then the state championship is in June. So excited about that. June 24th and 25th up on Neely Henry up around the Gadsden area. So looking forward to that as well. But it is great time. You start hitting May. Everybody says really Labor Day is the official start of summer. Not around here. You get a few days like we've had this past week. People go, well, okay, summer's here. So they jump out. There'll be a lot of boats out there today. It's a gorgeous weekend. It's Mother's Day weekend. So happy Mother's Day out there to all you mothers, and glad that you've joined us as well. But it's a good time to head into the summer. I love it. It's a good opportunity to get out and about and enjoy outside, and it's great to be able to jump in that lake and cool off when it gets to be about 95 degrees.
I think it's a great time for sports as well. You know, even if you're not participating in a high school sport at this point in time, which many aren't, we're into the playoff months. It's a time where you can head into the summer. For those that really care about what they're going to put out there on the field with themselves and their team, this is really where all of the work goes in, Brett. Weight room, the workouts, the 7-on-7s, the everything that goes into that. So it's always kind of a unique deal for me to watch and see what different programs do, and what they look at as important, and what do they look at as not important. And so that's something that has changed drastically since you and I were in school. We say that all the time, but it's just so true that we have to say it every time that it's brought up. I mean, you've gotten now to where it's almost a 12-month-a-year sport when we're talking about football. And some of these other sports, like you'll bring up Auburn High School baseball here shortly. Buddy, if you aren't staying up and playing and keeping up and playing travel ball and trying to play at the top level, you're not even going to make their squad.
Oh, no.
And so, you know, I think I told you a couple of weeks ago, I don't know that you and I were on the show, but so we had a travel baseball tournament here in Lake City. And there was a 10U division. And out of the 4 teams that made the semifinals, 3 of them were from Auburn. And not Opelika, because there was another team that was from Opelika that didn't make the Final Four. But there were 3 teams, all 10U, made up not solely but close to all the participants on those 3 teams were Auburn High School kids that are in, what, a 2-year age group?
That's right.
So you've got, my math doesn't have to be great, you have at least 40 to 45 kids on 3 teams in a 2-year age group
Same age, basically
that's
same age
taking taking baseball seriously enough to be probably traveling around and playing 10 or 12 tournaments this summer.
Right.
That's how hard the competition level is, and that's the reason that if you are going to compete with some of these kids in some of these bigger communities, you better be working as hard as they are.
I think what you just said was kind of where I was going to go with it. Auburn, with the amount of kids that they have that are actually playing, the volume of kids, they've got a jump start on other communities, smaller communities. They got more to pick from. I mean, that's just the bottom. They got more kids playing year-round than, say, X community does. So they have more to pick from, and they're cutting kids that would start for other teams. So
most teams.
Yeah, for a lot of teams, most all other teams, they're cutting kids that would start for most other teams, and so.
But here's the deal, though, bro. It's culture. Like
no, it's culture.
That's a baseball culture. Just because you throw a population or an enrollment out there does not mean you're going to put a quality product out there. What they've bought into in that area,
they just got the number of kids
they've got the numbers that are bought in,
that are playing,
that are keeping up with
That's
it.
That's what I'm saying.
So Chelsea High School is the same.
Right.
Their enrollment number is nowhere near, but their participation number in the sport of
Right.
baseball is through the roof. Kids are there. There's at least two to three age, and they're all made up of that one community. So you can make all the excuses you want. My point is that there's a reason that Auburn High School has moved to where they have in baseball, and it's been something to see. And it's been pretty much an embrace by the entire community that I better get on board. You know, I got a good friend of mine that's mine and your age. He's actually your age in high school. And his kid was actually the MVP of that tournament that I just talked about. He didn't play high school baseball. I don't know that he played a high school sport.
Right.
But he was there when Coach Semo came in.
Right.
And they didn't win, they were a 500 squad. They didn't win a lot of ball games back then. But he has seen the transition, and he's seen how much that community, and we're staying on that community because it has become the best baseball community in this state, bar none.
Yeah.
They won 4 out of the last 9?
I think so.
State championships. They're well on their way. I don't think they've given up a run in this
not-
playoff
yeah,
run so
I
far.
hadn't seen.
But he's got a willingness that he doesn't care. Semo and that crew, they don't care what your last name is.
Oh, I know it. I
And
know
some of that are over in that community know exactly what I'm talking about.
I know exactly what you're
They
talking
could
about.
care less, though, unless you're competitive.
Well, when you get to that level,
Yeah, true.
You're not having to take anybody because, I mean, the sheer volume of kids that are playing that sport is an advantage for that program to be able to go out. They've got more skilled players to choose from because they've chosen to go that route. That's where I was going with that. Not just because of numbers, it's the ones that are playing the sport. Like you said, you got 3 teams in a 10-year-old age bracket that are playing from one city that's in a tournament, and the 3 of them make the Final Four. That's a whole different level than most any other community. So not only are they starting out with more kids, they're starting out with more kids that are bought in.
That's the point I was trying to
No, that's what I was saying too, kind of in another roundabout way. So yeah, they're gonna have an advantage.
It's like Thompson in wrestling.
Right.
I mean, they just have more buy-in than anywhere else.
Here's how that goes. At some point in time, everybody gets on the same page, and they don't allow the outside stuff and the politics and stuff. There's always going to be politics and anything like that when you're picking and choosing kids to be on teams. That's never going to go away. But when you get to such a huge volume, it drowns all that out. When you don't have as much to pick from, the other stuff can affect decisions. But when you got way more than you can handle,
that's a good point.
You can just go, man, I'm sorry, I could pick 30 more and your kid. Okay, and form another team if I wanted to. What do you want me to do? What do you want me to do here? But when you only have 20 to pick from, then that kind of stuff, the outlier stuff creeps in and affects decision. But when you get 150 wrestlers, that are in there, everybody has flipped the switch in their mind going, okay, it is what it is. If we want to compete at this school, we just got to get after it. So at some point in time, a culture buys in. Like you said, this has been going on for 25, 30 years at Auburn. I mean, just now in the last decade have reached an elite level in baseball. They've been good for a while, but they haven't been to this level. And Semo's been the guy that's been there the whole time. So it takes a long time to withstand and kind of do that. But at some point in time, everything has to align. Everybody has to get on the same page to create that, whether it's in Chelsea or whether it's in Auburn or Alabaster or Alexander City or whatever community you want to pick in this state. Everybody for that particular sport has got to come together and say we've got one common goal, and that's to be elite. We want to be elite in this sport. And, you know, my kid may not make a team or something, you know, but that's how it has to be.
Hard to be elite in multiples too. You can, you can, but I don't see it quite as often.
No, I mean Auburn's
close.
Auburn's been pretty good in basketball and football. I mean, if you look at it from the three sport level, they haven't won a state championship in football and they haven't won one in basketball, but they've been in the finals.
Let's keep going down
the
list. You know, Thompson's getting close. They're not quite there in basketball, but they are all the way there, and I think they're working on it in baseball. I see a lot of kids participating.
Well, they're already dominant in football and wrestling. So I mean, when you say multiple, how many multiples?
Well,
you
I
want?
think that if you are consistently playing for championships in two sports, Coleman is
well,
now.
I mean,
now with Coleman basketball because they're always in it in baseball.
Piedmont, I looked at their record again in baseball. I mean, there's certain communities. Well, this stuff breeds. I mean, there's no doubt in my mind that when Fife won that basketball championship a few years ago, it was a direct correlation from all the success in football. Because when did you ever heard of Fife basketball? Really? When had you ever heard of it? But and we know some backstories between coaches and stuff. So, but at some point in time, you want a little bit more exposure from your team in that school. When one sport's dominating in that school, you go, well, I'm tired of playing second fiddle. Boys, we about to step it up. Or ladies, we about to step it up, and we're about to get some attention for ourselves. Hey, man, winning breeds winning. You know, that's how it is. If not, it really puts a glare on how maybe behind your program is within your own school. That nobody wants to do that. It puts pressure on people to be better.
Pisgah, Gunnersville, and Deschler.
Yeah, I mean,
all three of those from the girls' standpoint, right. They win championships in a lot of different sports.
GW Long is there every daggum year in baseball. This is a train that I've never seen before. You know, GW Long play up and down classifications too, and beat people, and that's the thing. We'll run down some of these scores, but that's what happens, man. Look, it's proof positive that some of these communities in particular sports have said, look, we're just going to make a decision. We're going to be the best.
And the reason we're bringing it up, Hometown Heroes, we've got a new one coming out here in the next month or so, we hope, next couple of months, and it's going to be on Thompson Wrestling. And
right.
The growth of that sport and that community of Alabaster and the championships that they continue to bring to that community, and it was started maybe 10 or 12 years ago.
Right.
I don't know the exact number. Didn't have a program, and now if they don't win the championship, you wonder what happened.
And Thompson really kind of owes wrestling to the success of everything else they got going on, because I'm telling you, in 1999 and 2000, when I started working at Central Alabama Community College and I started recruiting as a young guy and going around the state, Thompson was nothing but they were in last in everything. When you rolled up in Thompson High School, it was just beat down city. I mean, you just felt the vibe, but man, we just ain't got much going on here. You know, it just sometimes you pull up in school. I've done this for 25 years. I can tell people I've been to a ton of high schools in this state, and you can tell when you pull up in a school if a school's got pride in themselves and if they really got some confidence flowing in their building, or if they just kind of shrunk shoulders and ho-hum and, you know, we just kind of participate. We're just glad to be here kind of deal.
Yeah.
So Thompson was one of those schools that I remember always going, man, these kids don't seem like they're into a lot. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You don't look at that anymore. You pull up on campus now, it's immaculate. It's as good as anywhere in the country. every piece of pine straw is in the right place. You know, you go in the building and, you know, it's just everything's kind of bright and lit up, and they got banners hanging everywhere. And you just walk in and go, man, this place kicks tail. You know, I don't know what they play. You don't even have to know what they're playing. I don't know what they play, but they probably kick everybody's rear end in it. So, because they got banners hanging up. And it's just a sense of pride. And, you know, you walk in and you feel like you're part of something. Even though you may not participate, people associate. Now, you know, you go back to the Prattville years, and I remember how many kids were going out for football just to say they were on that team, on those teams that were coached by Bill Clark and Jamie Dubose and those guys. They're like, man, I know I ain't ever going to play, but daggum, I want to be part of something that's a winner. So I'm coming out. I'm going to stand on the sideline. I'm going to try not to get in somebody's way. But, boy, when we win another ring, I'm going to get one. So, I mean, I think that's wonderful. I think that's great that is an opportunity for kids to join something, be part of something that's got a winning culture. So, up against our first break of the show, just getting started here on Saturday Sports Countdown.
Farmers and Merchants Bank of Dadeville is building a foundation of strength and trust in the entire Lake Martin community. With our modern branch in Dadeville and caring, attentive staff, we've established Farmers and Merchants Bank as a reliable friend to your banking needs. Whether it's just a savings or checking account or any commercial, auto, or real estate loan, Farmers has local decision-making to build a relationship with you and your needs. Farmers and Merchants Community Bank. Strength, service, community.
Russell Do-It Center and building supply stores have the tools and materials to get the job done right, whether you're a professional contractor or just a weekend do-it-yourselfer. With everyday customer conveniences like a drive-through lumberyard, price match promise, and our Best Rewards program, each of our 9 locations offer top brands and building materials like lumber, hardware, tools, paint, lawn and garden, and much more. Visit today and see what Russell Do-It Center and Building Supply can help you build tomorrow.
Don't be caught in a dirty vehicle. Lake Martin Mobile Detailing will have your vehicle or boat looking like brand new in no time, and you'll be back driving in style. They specialize in detailing, paint correction, gel coat restoration, and ceramic coating. Take it to the professionals at Lake Martin Mobile Detailing. Call them today at 256-794-2328 or stop by and see them at 702 McCarty Road in Dadeville. Mention this ad and receive $10 off. Lake Martin Mobile Detailing for your cleanest vehicles around.
Skag, the toughest name in lawnmowers. Unmatched quality and performance for over 3 decades. The clear choice, the best mower money can buy for work or at home. Top lawn care professionals and discerning homeowners know that Skag means productivity and reliability. Every Skag mower is proudly built right here in the USA. Don't settle for anything less than simply the best. Skag.
Satterfield Outdoor Living on Highway 280 in Alex City.
You want the best opportunity to be successful in life. You deserve that opportunity. Well, you just happens to be in our motto. Central to you, central to your success. Your future is right now. Don't wait. Make your dreams a reality by enrolling at Central Alabama Community College. Register today at cacc.edu.
What's the verdict?
Can't fix your heat pump. Need a new one.
Uh-oh. What are you thinking?
I'm thinking Daikin.
Call on Kevin Kill in Sunshine Heating and Air at 256-825-4849, Central Alabama's premier Daikin dealer.
So what's he thinking?
Oh, he's thinking Daikin.
Daikin, one of the top selling in the world.
Now I'm thinking Daikin.
Daikin. Comfort for life.
Welcome back, everyone, to the Saturday Sports Countdown, brought to you by JR Sports Bar and Grill and Sunshine Heating and Air. Sunshine Heating and Air there on the screen. If you're watching on TV or Facebook Live, our good friend Kevin Kill and his group down there, they stay swamped year-round, but they're here to help you. So they'd love for you to give them a call and check them out if you need some help with your heating and air unit, if you need a new unit. Which when it gets 95 and Alabama in the summer and your air goes out, you are trying to figure out a way to get it fixed quick. So call on Sunshine Heating and Air. They got the new Daikin units, and they'll take care of you.
Let's run down some scores from high school baseball yesterday. And, Brett, when I run down these, I just took a quick look at the first three classifications, and I think all three of them had 2-game sweeps yesterday. So the teams that were expected to win did win, and we'll run those down as we're in the quarterfinals of high school baseball here in the state.
Right.
Sweetwater defeats Millry 2-0 to move on to the semis. Bayshore Christian defeats Barry yesterday in 1A. Lindsay Lane defeats Appalachian in 1A, and no clue. And Donahoe defeats Donahoe defeats Covenant Christian there in Class 1A.
You know, we've
but I
been
don't
doing
know.
this a long time, and every once in a while there's be somebody jump up, and you're like, hold on now, who's that? I mean, did you say Lindsay Lane?
Lindsay Lane.
I've never heard of them. I mean, I'm serious. I mean,
Where's Lindsay Lane? If you're out there in that community, let us know.
Never have heard of that school.
Class 2A, it was Ayrton defeating Fayetteville 2-0. GW Long, there you go. There are now 30-6 on the season. Defeated Vincent yesterday, 7-0 and 6-4 to move on to the semis.
And Vincent was pretty good too.
Decatur Heritage defeats Westbrook Christian. That's now a 28-8 Decatur Heritage team. And Mars Hill Bible, 27-5 mark on the season, defeated Eider to move on into the semis.
Taking
Those
them
are
long
the
to
two
be
classes.
good, and pretty much everything has it.
Well, they're in a good spot. They're in a good area
Florence.
with an influx of talent that you can grab.
There was a kid that went out on the mound last night for Arkansas from Florence, and he came in and really closed the door on Auburn. We'll talk about the Auburn game last night later on, but we were talking about this, and, that's a kid that probably left the state. Of course, he got recruited by Arkansas, who's one of the top programs in the country. So, but if things were on a level playing field, that's a kid that probably should – we've said that about basketball years ago, and now you see the difference. You don't see very many good kids leaving this state. They're going to play for Alabama or Auburn. That's a kid that probably should have been on the mound for Auburn last night instead of pitching for Arkansas. But because of scholarship opportunities and things, the way things have been set up to this point, he took an offer, probably got offered something that Auburn couldn't give him. And so he went and played, obviously, for great teams, a great player. He pitched 3 innings and closed the game out last night for Arkansas. But the thing is that now with NIL and stuff, and I have been so impressed with Butch Thompson this year and what he's put on the field. Because this team was picked 6th or 7th in the West to put the product he's put out basically in second place in the West behind this Arkansas team with the hurdles that he has in place. If you start giving him a little bit of equality in numbers and money, you better watch out.
Well, don't you think the NIL is going to do that?
No, I think that's where we're going to see a very good coach like Butch Thompson be brought way up to an even playing field with some of these schools out of state, because now he's going to have some money to give some other guys some scholarship.
In Class 3A, Trinity defeats Opp yesterday 2-0. Thomasville over Bayside Academy, and that was a very good Bayside Academy team going down to Thomasville. Phil Campbell defeats Elkmont, and there's your Piedmont. Piedmont, what a record. 33-4 defeats Lauderdale County yesterday. All of those teams moving into the semifinals.
What are they not good in, man? I mean, they're good in basketball, they're good in football, they're good in baseball. I mean, what are they not good in? So you go up there to their school. I haven't been to that one, but I remember Justin telling us years ago when he went up there, that was kind of our first eye-opener to facilities in the state. And he goes, man, I feel like I was at a college, with the banners of the players hanging up on the back of the stadium, and you walk in and, I can kind of memorize facilities now. I know Russellville's got an unbelievable baseball complex. You just know now around the state that schools that put pride in not just athletics but everything, make it a priority to be excellent in everything, and it just kind of permeates everything in the school.
Yeah, not many do it better than Piedmont. They don't
There's
in just about every sport. In Class 4A, it's Gordo, another school that wins in just about everything. Defeats Montevallo. It's Mobile Christian defeating Bibb County. Hamilton over Brooks. And Etowah takes down Jacksonville.
Etowah's always in baseball, man.
So we're 1 through 4A. all of the teams swept yesterday. We have not had a split so far. Moving into Class 5A, this Hopeful team, watch out. Hopeful's 32-5, takes down UMS Wright.
Went to UMS and won.
Won 14-3 there in game 1, and then 6-3 in game 2 to move into the semis. It's Headland defeating Shelby County. They win the series 2-1. Russellville defeats Leeds.
There's Russellville.
And Madison Academy taking down Alexandria. Right. So Russellville always there.
I want to go back to Elmore County, and I'm talking the county. Elmore County High School didn't make the playoffs. They were number 5 in their classification, by the way. That's how good they were. Didn't even make the playoffs because of their area. Hopeful, look at their record and what they're doing. Stanhope Elmore's still in it. Right now, the level of play of baseball in Elmore County right now, and Wetumpka was pretty good as well this year. They weren't bad, and they've been pretty good the last several years. They're playing a different level of baseball in Elmore County right now, and I mean, all those teams are good. It's not just like there's one team and everybody else is terrible. All of those teams are making the playoffs or right there or in the top 10 or whatever. I know they're changed that up now, and they're going to go to region play in baseball next year, which is much needed. I think we've all agreed on that. Good to see a positive change in that direction, but man, there's some great baseball going on in Elmore County right now.
Let's go ahead and take a break. We'll come back. We'll run down 6A and 7A and kind of set up those semifinal matchups.
Yep. Take a break. Stay tuned. More to come.
Growing your business isn't just one thing. It's a million little things. Should you lease, rent, or own? How fast can you get that part? Does it fit the budget? That's what your local cat dealer is here for. With expert advice, flexible financing, and industry-leading equipment, you can get the job done day after day. Visit ThompsonCat.com, their compact equipment provider.
WOTM is the television provider for all Alabama High School Athletic Association championship events and special programs. WOTM is your home for the Super 7 football, state finals basketball, baseball and softball state championships, the AHSAA weekly show, and WOTM also produced the first ever football playoff show, Super 7 preview show, and reclassification reveal show. Your exclusive home for all things AHSAA is WOTM. Contact your local cable provider to request WOTM to your channel lineup.
You want the best opportunity to be successful in life. You deserve that opportunity. Well, you just happens to be in our motto, central to you, central to your success. Your future is right now. Don't wait. Make your dreams a reality by enrolling at Central Alabama Community College. Register today at cacc.edu.
Alex City Internal Medicine and Nephrology and Weight Loss Center provides optimum care for the whole person. Dr. Dimo Popov specializes in the prevention and diagnosis of high blood pressure, kidney disease, diabetes, and acute and chronic conditions. Our weight loss clinic offers lipo shots and a guide to healthy weight loss. Alex City Internal Medicine and Nephrology and Weight Loss Center, where lifestyle changes are made.
When the Lake Martin area wants country, it turns to Kalijah Country 97.5. Lake Martin's best country.
Goes like one margarita, two margarita, three margarita shot. And if the house just keeps on winning, I got a wild card up my sleeve. I wish grandpa's never died.
Lake Martin's best country is on Kalijah Country 97.5.
Re-elect Richard LeGrand Sr., Lee County Commissioner, District 5. Why? Work with the Beauregard community with the EF4 tornado devastation to sort through debris, help restructure lives for the people that lost homes. Establish Juneteenth as a paid holiday in Lee County. A playground at Lochapoka to include 4 acres with a playground, service, organized trash collection on Lochapoka roadsides. Whether you vote absentee ballot or you go to the polls, please re-elect yours truly, Richard LeGrand Sr., Lee County Commissioner, District 5. Paid for by Friends of Richard LeGrand Sr.
For more than 40 years, Ingram Equipment Company has helped companies, towns, and cities with their dirtiest, most challenging jobs by providing the very best equipment and by helping them keep in tip-top working condition. IEC represents leading manufacturers such as Heil garbage truck bodies, Timco sweepers, Step pothole patchers, and many more. We proudly support all athletes and teams that compete across the state and wish them good luck this year. Ingram Equipment Company, ingramequipment.net.
Welcome back, everyone, to the Saturday Sports Countdown presented by JR Sports Bar and Grill. And Sunshine Heating and Air, 256-234-6221. Kind of running down the scores in AHSA baseball action there in the quarterfinals, and we're heading into 6A and 7A now.
Yeah, 6A. You brought up Stanhope. Stanhope did get swept yesterday. 2 really good games, though, and just couldn't hold on there in Game 1. Hillcrest Tuscaloosa will move on. They won 8-6 in Game 1 and then 7-1 in Game 2 to move into the semis. It's Hueytown and Pelham. This was a split yesterday. 4-3 win in Game 1 for Pelham. 3-0 win in Game 2 for Hueytown. Hueytown, what a season for them. Playing for a championship, in football, and now baseball into the quarters, and they're 30-11 on the season with a chance to move into the semis. It's Hartselle every single year. Hartselle defeats Buckhorn yesterday, 6-4 and 4-0. Hartselle now 35-4 on the season, moving into the semis. Hazel Green defeats a very good Chelsea team yesterday, 9-7 in Game 1 and 7-4 in Game 2. So Hazel Green will move on to take on that Hartselle team there in the semis, and should be a really good one there. Hazel Green's another baseball program.
I was about to say, and they're good in basketball too. Hazel Green's good. That again, there's a theme here. A lot of these schools that you're listing off, you can also say they're good in this too. I mean, it may only be one other one that they're really good, but I'm sure if you look down the line in their athletic department, they're probably pretty solid in most sports. But you know, it's a different than being good and then getting up to a championship level. It takes a little bit more.
Central Phoenix City defeats Baker yesterday, 13-7 in Game 1, 9-0 in Game 2, and it will set up a matchup in the semis that we seem to get year in and year out now against Auburn High School. Auburn defeats Alma Bryant yesterday, 7-0 and 10-0. So Phoenix City and Auburn in the semifinals in a lot of different sports, but this is the one that has become the consistent and the one that Phoenix City would like to get over the hump at some point.
Yeah, but Phoenix City's been a great baseball program
for
30 years, man. They've had their fair share of beating Auburn. And
Auburn don't know that they've ever won a state championship.
Yeah, I know. That's the crazy thing about it. They've just been always a
30-ish win
always
season, great teams.
Can't get over the hump. Opelika football. I mean, it's crazy to see some of these programs that have done this over and over, and eventually you go, man, they'll win one eventually. No, it's not. It's about like sitting down at the roulette wheel. Well, eventually it's got to hit red. No, it don't. It don't have to hit red. You know, people that try to rationale in their head when they go to the casino and they sit there and go, I'm just going to keep betting red. Well, yeah, I mean, odds are it's going to hit a red, but it don't have to. So you can have good
just
teams.
How hard it is.
That's what I'm saying. It's hard.
I mean, when you do get over the hump, you need to relish in it and understand how hard that it is. And Phoenix City, who has been as long as my life, I mean, they were the Dixie Youth guys that we had to compete against for championships all coming up. You knew you had to deal with them. You knew the last names. You knew all of the people in the community. Move on into high school, they were the nemesis that you had to get over, and unfortunately we didn't several times. So Phoenix City, we'll see what they'll do. But just like Brett said, walking into the door this morning, Lordy mercy, Auburn may not give up a run here in this playoff run, and I don't think that they have in the first 2 rounds.
It's just ridiculous. I'd have to go back and see. I think they may have given up a 1 or something in the last round, but that's ridiculous. In 7A baseball, to just shut everybody out and beat everybody down like that. So Phoenix City, you saw a score where they won 13-9. They did shut out Alma Bryant in the second game, but they'll have to just really pitch it well to stay in the game with Auburn because right now they're hitting the ball too. Obviously, they're scoring a lot of runs, but when you're not giving up 1-0, anything like that, you got to almost be perfect on the other side. Makes it tough.
Vestavia, can they get back to their championship ways? Well, they're into the semis, and they defeated
a 30. Seen them there in a while, have we?
Well, they have not won a state championship since Sammy Dunn. I was a little surprised to hear that. I thought that they had snuck one other one in, but so it means that they haven't won one since the early 2000s. And that was 9, I think, in 10 years that they won during that stretch with Coach Dunn. But Vestavia back into the semis. They defeated a very good 35-win Bob Jones team, 2-0. One game won 3-0, and game 2 4-2. So they threw it extremely well and take down Bob Jones, and they'll set up a matchup with a split yesterday. So it will be the winner of Hewitt Trustful and James Clemens in Class 7A taking on Vestavia to decide who will move on to the state championship round to take on either Phoenix City or Auburn.
There's your baseball. Softball's going to be starting this coming week. They've gotten through area play, and so the area tournament. So softball will be getting started coming up. I know soccer is, 3 rounds deep now as well. I know golf has had sectional play, tennis as well. So it's coming down to terms. There's only a few weeks left in school.
Quarterfinals in soccer, moving into those. All of those matches May 5th, 6th, or 7th. So they're going on right now, should be a lot of the same teams that we call year in and year out in that sport also. And it is the most participated sport in the state of Alabama. We have a Hometown Heroes documentary semi in the works when it comes to that, to talk about the start of high school soccer here in the state. And it wasn't as long ago as you would think. I think in the early 80s, late 70s, early 80s, soccer came to this state. Indian Springs head coach brought it to the state, had to officiate, had to train up officials, had to go out there and get other schools to take up the sport. And 40-some-odd years later, it's the top participated sport in the state of Alabama, and probably the top participated sport maybe in the country now, I would guess, when it comes to boys and girls soccer. And, you've seen communities like ours that have completely embraced it, and there's a reason that they consistently play championships.
There's more kids in that sport in our community than there are in any of maybe all the other ones combined. Close. That's how many you go out there. Seriously.
Yep.
So, that's the way of the land now in athletics, all the way from youth to high school. It does make it very tough for you to be a top-level athlete unless you're very gifted in multiple sports, because you don't have time to work. There's only so much time in a day, and you got to pick and choose what you want to enhance, which craft you want to enhance. And so it doesn't mean you don't play multiple, but to be a superstar in a couple of them is tough, so because of the timing aspect. But up against another break. Stay tuned. More Saturday Sports Countdown right after this.
Hi, this is Brian Bice with Bice Motors. With our all-star lineup of Dodge trucks, Jeep, SUVs, and Chrysler cars, we offer the area a team dedicated to making your next vehicle purchase a positive experience. Our sales team offers competitive pricing, and we back up all sales with a service department second to none. Bice Motors also offers the area's best selection of pre-owned vehicles. Visit Bice Motors at 2133 Cherokee Road in Alexander City.
Guaranteed lowest price. Buy it at Bice Motors.
You already know the power and reliability of a Mahindra tractor. Get ready to meet their ATV and UTV lines. Haul more and tow more. Do more. Reaching speeds up to 60 miles an hour. Models have a 12-inch ground clearance and the ability to haul up to 1,200 pounds. There's a Mahindra utility vehicle and a model specifically to get the job done. Test drive today at Lake Martin Tractor and Outdoor. Serving Tallapoosa, Coosa, Clay, and Talladega counties. 256-392-3613.
Hi, I'm Scott Blake.
I'm Angie Richardson, and we are the loan team here at Movement Mortgage.
Whether you're a first-time home buyer or you've gone through the process before,
Our mission is to help you move forward with the purchase of your future plans. Call me at 256-397-2771.
or call me at 256-794-1003.
Scott Blake, NMLS number 527945. Angie Richardson, NMLS number 216556. Movement Mortgage supports equal housing opportunity, NMLS number 39179. For licensing information, please visit NMLSConsumerAccess.org.
Hey guys, this is Nate Paz with Airport Motors.
I'm Connor Branch with Fairway Auto Brokers in Opelika, Alabama.
And this is your first ever Lake Martin Summer Car Blitz.
That's right, Lake Martin. Airport Motors and Fairway Auto Brokers is teaming up for the very first Lake Martin Summer Car Blitz. Make sure to check out either website for the very best selection of pre-owned luxury trucks, SUVs, and sedans in East Alabama. Get pre-approved in minutes online and make sure to use the keyword Summer Blitz in the comments section for $500 off internet price. That's keyword Summer Blitz.
Castelluccio Fine Italian Dining in downtown Alexander City is rapidly becoming the region standard for Italian cuisine, as well as hand-cut filet mignon, fresh Gulf seafood, and the area's best Italian import wine selection. We offer true old-world charm with unmatched hospitality. Like Castelluccio Fine Dining on Facebook to keep up with daily lunch and dinner specials. Also new, we offer catering for your family and small business, so call and order. Castelluccio, downtown Alexander City, where the only thing that rivals the flavor is the dining experience.
You've dreamed about the perfect house, a place to call your own, and a place to not only stretch out, but to grow. Auto Owners protects your house because to you, it's home. That's simple human sense. Happy to help, man. I was just over there talking to myself anyway.
Welcome back, everyone, to the SportzBlitz Saturday Sports Countdown presented by JR's Sports Bar and Grill and Sunshine Heating and Air, 256-234-6221. Can't thank them enough for what they've done for our program for so many years. That's what Luke and I talked about the other night, Randy. You believe this thing's been going on since 06, 07, SportzBlitz.
Yeah, I can believe it. I can look
that's
at,
unbelievable. I mean, but it's really since
at pictures.
We're in 2022, though, and it's just how fast time has moved out. But, I mean, really a staple of what we've done here in Central Alabama and kind of expanded that out. We couldn't do it without great partners like JR's and Sunshine Heating and Air and the people like that. They allow us to bring you these programs, and we appreciate all the people that come up to us and text us and let us know that they enjoy watching the program and the information that we provide. We try to cover a vast array of everything and anything that you want to talk about out there. Let's dive on into some college baseball right now because that's SEC play last night. Tennessee's in danger of losing this series to Kentucky. They lost on Thursday to Kentucky, and they're down 4-2 in the eighth. That game got suspended. Now, I don't know what the rules are. I haven't seen anything. I don't know that them by not allowing or not being able to finish if that game's already been called. And if it has been called, Tennessee's lost their first series of the year. So I don't know. I'd have to do a little bit more research. But I know when the game was put on hold, Kentucky was up 4-2 in the eighth. I mean, maybe here we go in baseball. I mean, it is hard to maintain a level that Tennessee's maintained to this point. And that their worst nightmare is for them to tail off right here at the end of the season going into postseason. That'd be their worst nightmare after the season they've had. We saw Auburn do it in basketball.
Definitely did.
Saw them play the worst basketball at the wrong time.
If the bats go silent, then
and they have the last two games.
That's what I've seen. And they had moments against Auburn where they weren't as good as they've been. So we'll see. Watching that team play, I just think it's a little spell. I don't sense that you'll see that moving into tournament play. I think they've got too many great arms and too many guys that can step up to the plate, hit the ball out of the park. in comparison to the competition they're going to run up against. So we'll see. To me, my eyes tell me it's one of the best teams in SEC play I've seen.
There's no doubt. I mean, look, to think that you're going to run the table, there's only 3 series left. To think that you're going to make it all the way through, barely lose a game, much less not lose a series, is kind of asinine. But I don't know if that game has been officially called or not. So I don't know if they'll come back and play an inning and a half and then go from there. Alabama is on the skids right now at the wrong time. They got swept by a mediocre South Carolina team last week, and they're playing a really good LSU team at home and had a lead most of the game, and LSU comes back and wins 6-5 at the end of the game. Brad Bohannon is a phenomenal coach. I think Alabama is very fortunate to have him from his recruiting abilities and his coaching abilities. He and Coach Thompson are really close. I know that's an odd deal when you got 2 rivals like that, but he coached under Butch Thompson at Auburn. He took that job at Alabama and, doing a great job up there. But, man, just shows you how tough this league is that you have one bad series like they had against South Carolina against a team that you really need to win 2 or 3 against. You can put yourself in a situation where you may not make the tournament.
Yeah, and, there's just not a lot of buzz around that program. Not even living here in this state do you hear anyone talking about it. And I don't know that that's a good thing. You can be a tremendous coach, a great recruiter, but if you can't create a buzz around a program like Alabama in a sport like baseball, I don't know that you're going to consistently win. Do you sense the same there? I mean, do you even really hear anybody talk about Alabama baseball ever?
No, I don't even really hear Alabama fans talk about Alabama baseball. It reminds me a lot of where we used to be in basketball as Auburn fans. We just go, oh, the season's going on. Okay, who we playing tonight? All right, I might check a score, but I'm not gonna. I mean, it just shows you that if you're not relevant, people aren't going to spend their time, watching or keeping up with it, and it's just something that is filling a void till you get to the next level, to the next sport. That's what we did with basketball. That's definitely not the case at Auburn anymore in basketball, but for the majority of our lifetimes, mine and your lifetime, that's how we approached basketball. I never was – loved basketball, loved the sport of basketball, maybe my favorite sport of all when the dust settles, but – the team I pulled for, I just like, man, we're a one-sport school down here. Basketball season, okay.
I feel like it's a sport you've got to sell in this state. And I know that the competition level with the opposing states around us with the lottery, and we can go into that all that we want, but it's still – you got to be out there willing to market and advertise your program, and I just never hear about Alabama baseball, and probably because they are mediocre and don't seem to be moving in a.
They're 25-21 and 10-12 in the league. And 9-13 in the league.
It's just the norm. It's just another year. Some years are worse than that, but for the most part, very seldom do you. When's the last time Alabama baseball had a much better record than that? I can't.
I don't. I mean that's not being funny. I just don't know. And so Auburn on the flip side, they fall to Arkansas. They were up 5-0 going into the 6th inning, and they lose 11-8. So they get destroyed in the latter part. Carson Skipper just couldn't really hold it together, and he got kind of knocked around against Tennessee. So I think maybe that was some lingering effects there. And then they brought the other kid in that was kind of mechanical with his first pitch. He threw one. The guy hit the thing ain't landed yet. And so, but he made one bad pitch and really kind of settled down after that. But the damage had already been done. So a 3-run bomb there, and it kind of just extended the lead. Kind of fought back a little bit, but again, I can't remember the name of the kid from Florence, but he came in and for Arkansas and really shut Auburn down. And then they bring their closer in the 9th inning, Tigert, and he gave up a couple hits, but he put Auburn away with his off-speed stuff, and then he come back with about a 93, 94 mile an hour fastball. But anyway, bottom line is Auburn falls to 31-15 now, and they are 12-10 in league play. Arkansas improves to 15-7. So would have loved to have closed that gap. Would have loved to have gotten to 13-9 and gotten Arkansas to 14-8. But still got a chance to win 2 at home. Auburn did go to Tennessee and steal a game. You know, we all said if they were somehow able to win 3 of the next 6 between these Tennessee and Arkansas team, who are by far the best 2 teams in the league, you definitely feel like you've won, and you feel like you've kind of solidified yourself as, you know, a contender.
Just got to pull it off in the next 2 games. And
well, you got Gonzalez going on Sunday, so you feel good about that. So what if they can come back today and somehow pull off a win? But look, again, they were up 5-0.
And Auburn was able to do that last weekend.
Right.
You know, they were up 4-2 in the 6th or 7th last weekend, end up losing 17-4. And it got out of hand. So it's right there in the same stretch on Friday night. Right. So a couple of weeks in a row, I'm hoping that you see the faults and we can clean that up before tournament play hits.
No doubt about it. Up against the break, stay tuned. More Saturday Sports Countdown right after this.
Whether it's Lake Martin, Lay Lake, or Logan Martin, boaters from all over the state of Alabama come to Alex City Marine, just off Highway 280 in Alexander City, Alabama, because it's worth the drive. With the best deals on unbeatable Suzuki outboards, Manitou and Landau Tritoons, and a great pre-owned inventory while they last. Alex City Marine is the pros the locals know. And no matter where you're from, when you're here, you're local to us. Alex City Marine, just off Highway 280 in Alexander City, Alabama. AlexCityMarine.com.
WOTM is the television provider for all Alabama High School Athletic Association championship events and special programs. WOTM is your home for the Super 7 football, state finals basketball, baseball and softball state championships, the AHSAA weekly show, and WOTM also produced the first ever football playoff show, Super 7 preview show, and reclassification reveal show. Your exclusive home for all things AHSAA is WOTM. Contact your local cable provider to request WOTM to your channel lineup.
You don't have to ask who, what, or why. Who's Diner is the go-to place for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Conveniently located at the corner of Highway 22 and 280 in Alex City. Who's Diner offers the best meals and the best deals in town. Try our fresh, made-from-scratch pancakes, chicken salad, Philly cheesesteak, or the Who Burger. It doesn't get any better than who? Who's Diner, of course, on the corner of Highway 22 and 280. Who's hungry?
Fast, fresh, and friendly. That's the Allen Brew Market mission to our customers on the go. Allen Brew Markets of Talladega County fuel your vehicle and you with the best coffee, drinks, snacks, and food, so you can get your day on the fast track. Allen Brew Markets are always convenient with Sylacauga locations on Main Avenue, Highway 280, and Old Birmingham Highway. Allen Brew Markets has everything for the family on the go, and we're always brewing up great specials. Fast, fresh, and friendly. Our guarantee to you.
The same professionals you've trusted with your urgent care is now your primary health provider, Main Street Family Care. We provide annual physical exams as well as monitoring health conditions such as high blood pressure, diabetes, asthma, and more. All major insurances accepted, Medicaid, Medicare, and have self-pay options to accommodate everyone. See us in Alex City, just across from Walmart. Your care is our primary concern.
Main Street Family Urgent Care. Heal better, feel better fast.
Why is Sarah Automotive Group on Highway 280 in Sylacauga the place for the best deals on your new ride? 3 compelling reasons. 1. With 3 full new car dealers on one lot, you get the best in comparison and incentives on Fords, Hondas, and Nissans. Unmatched selection. 2. Sarah pays over market value for your trades to maintain East Central Alabama's best pre-owned vehicle selection and sales. And 3. The Sarah Automotive price won't be beat and delivers lower payments and huge value on your next buy. Shop online or on Highway 280 in Sylacauga.
Welcome back, everyone, to the SportzBlitz Saturday Sports Countdown presented by JR Sports Bar and Grill. Top of the hour coming up here shortly as we head into hour number 2. So we're glad that you joined us. Give us a call Hey, do appreciate the call that came in. We asked a question about Lindsay Lane earlier in baseball. Never heard of the school. It's up around the Athens area.
Beautiful area of the state, so can easily understand. And that's normally a hotbed of talent for baseball in that Athens area.
I wonder if they're a relatively new school, or if they've been around a while and all of a sudden, I mean, I don't know. I'm asking.
We didn't know. We didn't even know they were a school.
So he may call back and let us know that. But kind of shift gears because I'm sure Luke will be on with us to start the second hour. As you move into football and you talk a little bit about kind of where the rubber hits the road, it goes back to players. I think that the urgency is at a fever pitch for Brian Harsin and this program. This year, I don't know. I think it'll depend on the offensive line play, really, how this team is able to perform. I think defensively, they've got enough pieces to be really competitive over there. You lose Roger McCreary, obviously, but I think Auburn's going to be okay in the secondary. But offensively, can they find a quarterback to give them a productive chance in most of these games? And are there enough skill guys? Because the receivers that Auburn's going to run on the field combined have very little, in-game experience or catches for that matter. You got an experienced backfield, but you got a very experienced offensive line. But there's a reason they're experienced; they haven't performed very well. So, but if they can build off that, I think the concern is maybe not so much this year is moving forward, and already the gap in recruiting right now of what Brian Harsin has not done in his first year, kind of why he got in a little bit of a pickle, for lack of better terms, and kind of why some people wanted him out, because he just wasn't doing what a lot of people felt like he needed to do and needs to do. And I still don't see a lot of momentum in football right now, unfortunately.
Well, I think there's a lot of talk, and I can understand why recruits wouldn't go ahead and sign on the dotted line until we show what we're going to throw out there on the field this year. I ask Andy from time to time to put some numbers together that we don't see on other outlets out there. And so this week when we did the program on Tuesday, he went back and he checked the star ratings for all of the players in the SEC currently on the roster and the incoming freshmen. And please tell me if I'm wrong. With Warsham coming in, I think that gives Auburn 69 scholarship athletes. Now, Brian Harsin this week says that he only thinks we're down 6 or 7. Our math says 16. If I'm wrong, please tell me.
All right, here's what Jason said on SportzBlitz yesterday, and they may move toward this for people that, especially now with the transfer portal and the way things are structured, I think the number is 85. So do away with the 25 a year number. Because if you need to go out and get some more players, you need to be able to go out and get some more players. The 25 number is really putting a hindrance on people that are behind. It really makes it very tough to
catch up.
To catch up. If you get behind, you get behind, and it may not necessarily be somebody's fault. You may be inheriting a mess. Now, Brian Harsin didn't inherit, an orchard full of healthy apple trees. Okay, so I'll give him the benefit of the doubt. He didn't walk into just a plethora of 4- and 5-star guys running out of every door in the complex. So when you come into something and you're still trying to get your feet on the ground and learn the landscape and you're behind, well, that 25 limitation or whatever it is per class really still puts a limit on you being able to catch up. So I thought Jason brought up a really good point, and it's being looked at possibly as just do away with that 25 number. The number just be 85. You got 85 scholarship players on your roster. If you had to go out and get 35 one year, 40, I know that's kind of extreme, but I'm just saying, if you have to go out and do something like that, that would give you the opportunity to do it.
Did he say how many he thought we were down from the 85 number?
10 or 12, I think.
That's the number he gave.
If I remember correctly.
Now Andy's going back to recruiting classes and rosters, and that's where he comes up with around the 70. So 10 or 12, we're within striking distance.
Right.
Could be about right. Here were the totals that he had from a star rating for those 70-some-odd players on Auburn's team. Auburn had 1 5-star. You know who that was?
Owen Papo.
Owen Papo, the lone 5-star
Tank
on this
Beasley, that's
roster.
hard to believe Tank wasn't a 5.
He was a 4. Probably a 5 in certain
Sure.
certain rankings, but not in the one that Andy was going down.
Probably going by 24.
We had 34 4-stars and 33 3-stars on the roster. That would, of course, only come out to 68, but that was the number as of Tuesday. Georgia has 19 5-stars on their roster. Alabama has 14 5-stars on their roster, and that is taking into consideration that was actually now Andy didn't go back and check the incoming freshmen.
Okay.
So, but those two classes for Georgia and Alabama were extremely strong.
Of course.
These were the end of last year's star ratings. So Alabama last year had 14. Georgia had 19 on the squad last year. Yes, they lost players to the NFL,
Sure, but
both replenished both. So you've got to think that those numbers, if anything, may be up a little. I know that's crazy to say, but I think both of those schools may be recruiting at the highest level they've ever recruited currently.
And then Auburn's got 1, if that puts things in perspective.
Well, the other number that really jumped out to me is Alabama had more 4 and 5 stars than Auburn had roster players on their squad. So
it's separate. This isn't breaking news. I mean, it's good to see the numbers.
You know what is still amazing.
But what I was about to get to is, you see why there's a separation.
Yeah.
What the level that those two schools are at, and we knew Georgia had underperformed for 2 decades. We knew that. They were underperforming, winning 10 games a year. All right? But we knew that if they got somebody over there that could really bring recruits in and take things to a different level, I mean, they would be, a sleeping giant would have awakened, and that's exactly what's happened. So up against top of the hour break. Stay tuned. Hour number 2 coming your way right after this.
Hi, this is Brian Bice with Bice Motors. With our all-star lineup of Dodge trucks, Jeep, SUVs, and Chrysler cars, we offer the area team dedicated to making your next vehicle purchase a positive experience. Our sales team offers competitive pricing, and we back up all sales with a service department second to none. Bice Motors also offers the area's best selection of pre-owned vehicles. Visit Bice Motors at 2133 Cherokee Road in Alexander City.
Guaranteed lowest price. Buy it at Bice Motors.
WOTM is the television provider for all Alabama High School Athletic Association championship events and special programs. WOTM is your home for the Super 7 football, state finals basketball, baseball and softball state championships, the AHSAA weekly show, and WOTM also produced the first ever football playoff show, Super 7 preview show, and reclassification reveal show. Your exclusive home for all things AHSAA is WOTM. Contact your local cable provider to request WOTM to your channel lineup.
I'm Jimmy Goree with Goree's Furniture. We would like to invite you to come shop our huge selection of furniture. But if you don't have time, we have over 2,000 items you can have shipped directly to your home. Go to GoreesFurniture.com, look for 48-hour quick ship. Shop, click, ship, it's just that easy. You can shop us here, or you can shop us online, only at Goree's Furniture.
Your express way to saving.
If you haven't been to Big B Barbecue in Alex City, then you're missing the best barbecue around. Big B has everything from the best pulled or chopped pork, chicken, and beef to cheeseburgers and grilled chicken salads. Bring your friends and family out for a great dinner and sit outside on our beautiful patio, or sit inside and enjoy your meal by the fireplace. So come in and join us and enjoy the best barbecue in the area only at Big B Barbecue, located on Highway 22 West in Alex City.
You want the best opportunity to be successful in life. You deserve that opportunity. Well, you just happens to be in our motto, central to you, central to your success. Your future is right now. Don't wait. Make your dreams a reality by enrolling at Central Alabama Community College. Register today at cacc.edu.
Welcome back, everyone, to the Saturday Sports Countdown presented by JR Sports Bar and Grill. We'll go to the phone line and welcome in our good buddy Luke Robinson. On the road somewhere. It's costing him a little bit more to travel these days. Gas only at about $19 a gallon out there for all of us in this illustrious world. Luke, welcome in.
How's it going, guys?
Good. I mean, when gas becomes more expensive than kerosene, then we've hit a new low. I think diesel's hit an all-time high. That just, boy, it's just real encouraging and positive when you wake up in the mornings nowadays, isn't it?
I'm just going to dig a well down here at the bottom of my house, see if I can get this stuff myself.
You'd be a lot cheaper. I mean, if you could find a way to refine it. But hey, we'll shift in and let's talk about the world of sports instead of politics. That's a little bit more enjoyable. Even though right now in sports it's got its own vices with all the NIL stuff and everything that's going on. Just from Alabama baseball perspective, I know you're not the staunchest of followers of baseball, but got to just talk about Alabama for a little bit on the baseball diamond. They've lost 4 SEC games in a row now. Just seems like this team's kind of hit a little bit of a skid.
Yeah, it always seems like in baseball when a great run is followed by, or maybe your best run is followed by your worst run. And Alabama got some nice play in there, like kind of right in the middle. They actually swept Ole Miss. Ole Miss isn't the team we thought they'd be. But now coming down the stretch, they're just limping. And I think that coming down the stretch in baseball in a season that's so long is when you really start to see who the great teams are. And now we're seeing that Alabama's just not that great. They just don't have a lot of depth. They're probably a little tired, but everybody's tired. And again, this is when you get to see how good you really are. And I think we're seeing this team's just not very good. Unfortunately, I think the results speak for themselves. I just don't think this team is very, very strong. They were ranked for just a split second in the middle of the year, and then things really tailed off, and I think it could get worse before it gets better.
Look, hey, I want to shift gears and talk about a program in the conference that's really just getting after it and everything, and that's Arkansas. You look at where they're preseason ranked in basketball next year. They're preseason ranked. Some have them as high as 5, but definitely a top 10 team. This is a program that's gone to the Elite 8 2 years in a row. Their baseball program under Van Horn for the last 20 years has been stellar. They should have won a national championship a few years ago and kind of had one slip away, but here they are again at the top of the West, really the second best team in the league behind Tennessee, who's having a ridiculous year. Then you look at Sam Pittman in football. Just that football program's on the rise. And we all laughed and thought it was a joke that, you know, they hired Sam Pittman from Georgia and he didn't know what he was getting into, and he's just proved everybody wrong and kind of gotten that program to buy into his philosophy and's got some momentum going. Arkansas, from a perspective of all around, has got it going on in the SEC.
They do, and I think that they will certainly be a tough out for people in the SEC this year. A couple of things, you know, we're all lauding Sam Pittman with praise, and again, it's due. I mean, you could make the case he is the second best quarterback in the SEC next year in KJ Jefferson. Stetson Bennett has won a national championship, but I think most people attribute that to the incredible defense and fantastic running game and an unbelievable offensive line they had. So Stetson Bennett just sort of had a Jay Barker national championship, and there's nothing wrong with that. I'm not trying to insult the kid at all. But at the same time, if Georgia had had KJ Jefferson back there, I think the results would have been very similar, if not even better, because I think they would have been even more unstoppable. That being said, going back to Arkansas for a second, they're going to be a tough out, but at the same time, I think it's going to be interesting to see how they react this year to having a little bit more of a target on their back. I mean, they really were able to sneak up on just about anybody they wanted to sneak up on. Arkansas has been asleep at the wheel for at least a decade now. So at this point, they're going into the season where they're going to have a little recognition. They're going to have some folks going, okay, this Arkansas team, should creep up on 9-10 wins. And it's much harder to get to 9-10 wins when you haven't been doing it consistently, one, and number two, when everybody's expecting you to do it. I mean, nobody expected Arkansas to do the things they did last year. I mean, shoot, one of their greatest accomplishments last year was just hanging with Alabama as long as they did. And now they're going to have some expectations, and it's very difficult in this league to meet expectations when your crowd is beginning to have high expectations. Now, I mean, for a long time, Arkansas was able to meet expectations because everybody expected you're going to have about 3 wins. And it wasn't very difficult to meet that benchmark. I think it's going to be a lot more tougher this year.
No question about it. It is different when it shifts from you trying to prove everybody wrong to now you got a little bit of a target on your back. Going back to Alabama, as far as any news on this program as football spring in the books heading into summer, I know you talked about it Tuesday with me. Is it still getting colder with Arch Manning as far as the chances of him showing up in Tuscaloosa?
At this point, I would be pretty shocked if Alabama ended up with Arch Manning. In fact, I would say that it's pretty much over. But I do believe Alabama ends up with Eli Holstein. And frankly, I think Eli Holstein is every bit the quarterback Arch Manning is. There's positives to both sides. Eli Holstein, one of the top quarterbacks in this country. He went out to the Elite 11 or some camp out in California and just blew everybody away. I mean, his spark rating was through the roof. He's a big kid. There's two quarterbacks from Louisiana this year that are really much ballyhooed, and that's Eli Holstein and Arch Manning. Only one of them has won a state championship, and only one of them plays in a larger classification, and that's Eli Holstein. And so he's a really, really good player. He's more fleet of foot than Arch Manning. Having said all that, if Arch Manning has the Manning name. Now, what is that worth? I think it's worth a lot. I think it's worth a lot literally and figuratively. Literally in the sense that the amount of cachet your program gets if you bring in Arch Manning is a lot. You get the whole first family of football backing with your university, and I think that's huge. And you get a kid that's just got football in his DNA. You can't overestimate that. I mean, it's going to be incredible. I mean, all the Mannings have been good, right? I mean, Peyton was phenomenal. Eli was phenomenal. Arch was phenomenal. And so you got to feel like, in a hereditary sense, Arch is going to be fantastic. So there's positives to both of them. There's also, if you want to try and nitpick, you could say, hey, getting Arch Manning on the campus is great, but don't you feel like wherever he goes, he's going to feel like I've got to be the guy when I come in? If you were to go to Georgia or Texas, and if you think about some of the guys, Georgia's got they got Brock Vandegrift over there right now, who a lot of people really like, and Texas has Quinn Ewers, who is doing really well. So he's going to have competition wherever he goes. You got to feel like whichever one of those schools gets him, and I believe it'll be one of those two, that he's going to have some, not guarantees necessarily, but his wink guarantees that he's going to be able to start as soon as he gets there. And my goodness, if Alabama gets Eli Holstein, if Georgia gets Arch Manning, if people are sick of Alabama and Georgia, they better just go ahead and get used to it.
I'm going to say gut feeling right now. Do you think it ends up being Georgia? It seems to me that's just from the stuff I've read and the feeling that's where he ends up.
I feel like a lot of people are pointing towards Texas right now. I think it's going to be. I feel like.
Don't you think he wants to end up in this conference? Don't you think he wants to end up in this conference?
What now?
Don't you think he wants to end up? I just think the SEC wins out in the end.
Now, technically, I think he would be in the SEC at some point in his career if he were to choose Texas, and it could be sooner rather than later because Texas may work out something. Texas and Oklahoma may work out something where they get the SEC a little bit sooner.
Right.
That being said, if you want to go to the more stable program, I don't think there's any doubt it's Georgia. If you want to go to what I think will have an easier route to winning championships, I think it'll be Georgia because they're in the SEC East, and yes, Tennessee's getting a little stronger, Florida's getting a little stronger, but other than that, I mean, I'm not real scared of anybody else in Georgia's path. And Texas, meanwhile, they're going to have some issues, and if he doesn't get in the SEC quicker, he's going to be in the Big 12, which, yes, they throw the ball around a lot, but a lot of times you don't get the credit it feels like you should. So I feel like in the end it's going to be Georgia. He's going to have much better protection on the offensive line. He's going to have much better protection in terms of, hey, what if we get behind? I got to have my defense get some stops if I'm going to make a comeback. I think he'll have the better defense. And I think he'll have a pretty rabid environment, and he'll get to play again in the SEC where his grandfather played at Ole Miss,
right?
His uncle played at Ole Miss, and his other uncle played at Tennessee, and his dad, of course, played at Ole Miss too. So I feel like Georgia is probably where he ends up. I wouldn't discount Florida completely just yet because apparently they're making a move. But, yeah, if I had to put my money down, it would be Georgia, and Alabama ends up with Holstein, and I think the Alabama coaches are really fine with that. I can tell you this. Either one of those guys has had, I know this beyond the shadow of a doubt, either one of those guys had a green light to commit whenever they want to. This is not Alabama holding Eli Holstein hostage until they find out what's going on with Arch at all. And I think both of those players know this, and I think that's true for probably some other schools. And Alabama has just said, look, whichever one of y'all wants to commit first, we will take you. I don't care who it is.
When is that going to happen?
I think Eli Holstein will happen sooner rather than later, and I think Arch will probably go into the summer a little bit. Frankly, I'm surprised the Arch thing has lasted this long because I thought he would want to act as sort of a Pied Piper for other recruits. But I think it really has become a tougher decision than he ever thought. And now that he seems to be shifting away from Ole Miss, which was always a pretty viable backup, now it gets even tougher because you're like, okay, I got to break family tradition here, and I'm going to go to either Texas, which is, got all this rich history, but they hadn't peed a drop in so long it's hard to remember. And then I could go to Georgia, which is a place I didn't really see myself going when I was growing up. So I think he's got some more thinking to do, and eventually, though, I think he will be in Athens. And, again, it's going to be pretty incredible to watch potentially these two guys go head-to-head in the SEC in different divisions and maybe play each other in the SEC championship multiple times and see which one has the better career.
Well, Luke, we appreciate it, brother. Thank you so much for that info, and we'll catch up with you next week.
All right, guys.
All right, thanks so much. Up against the break. Stay tuned. More Saturday Sports Countdown right after this.
A&M Plumbing, A&M Plumbing, service at its best when you need it most.
From the smallest drippy faucet to drain cleaning to water heater replacement to gas lines to total systems replacement, A&M Plumbing handles it all. Visit amplumbing.net today for the experienced, licensed, and insured pros at A&M Plumbing.
A&M Plumbing, A&M Plumbing, service at its best when you need it most.
They say we live in an age of big data, where computers and fancy algorithms are supposed to know you best. But at Country Financial, we know helping you own your future requires, well, something much bigger. Contact your local Country Financial representative and start planning for your future with a personal touch.
Okay, somebody's not wearing their seatbelt.
I don't wear seat belts. Might wrinkle my shirt.
That's okay. I'm sure they can iron it before the funeral.
What funeral?
Yours. Almost 70% of people who die in car crashes aren't wearing a seatbelt.
Okay. There. You happy?
Just happy to be alive.
Seatbelts. It's hard to live without them. Drive safe, Alabama. A message from your Alabama Department of Transportation.
Life is a sequence of little successes. The story of my Southern Union success began the day I walked on campus, making new friends, mastering a new skill, reaching a personal goal, the encore performance, the first date, the internship, and now, soon, the dream job. That's the story of my Southern Union success. Register for classes and get ready to watch your Southern Union story come to life.
It's time to crank for bank. April 1st through July 4th, you'll be fishing Lake Martin for a chance to win big. With a $100 registration, you'll be fishing for $1 million from Big Fish Real Estate Group and Point Broadband, a 2022 Bass Cap Bass Boat from Russell Marine, 2022 Skeeter Bass Boat from Ashley Outdoors, a 2022 Chevy truck from Lake Martin Cabinetry and Allen Embry Premier Chevrolet, or catch a $1,500 tagged fish. Brought to you in part by Dunning Roofing, Lake Martin Tourism, Mortgage Pro, Fishing Chaos, and Lake Broadcasting. Visit Crank, the number 4 bank.com for details.
Welcome back, everyone, to the SportzBlitz Saturday Sports Countdown presented by JR Sports Bar and Grill and Sunshine Heating and Air. Give us a call if you'd like to, 256-234-6221 to be part of the program. You can comment on Facebook Live. One of the things that you look at from a recruiting standpoint, Arch Manning, and I looked at some stuff on Eli Holstein this past week. The rich get richer, right? When you have the momentum. I definitely think Arch Manning, from a, like Luke said, a name standpoint and everything that comes with him is a big get. But Holstein's a very good quarterback. But the Georgias, the Alabamas of the world are getting their pick of what they want. Now, where Arch ends up, he could end up at Texas. A lot of people seem to think he could be trending that way. But there's also an added amount of pressure with Arch Manning. And I'll say this, Eli went to Ole Miss and was a phenomenal quarterback, but never won anything. And this day and age, wherever Arch Manning goes, everybody's going to immediately expect him to just be at the top. And it just, even at his level, that's a lot of pressure on that kid.
Well, I think it's a lot more pressure if you go to a program like Texas, or if you go to a program like Ole Miss. Let's give the devil his due when you're talking about Eli Manning. I mean, he was at Ole Miss, and they won 10 or 11 football games by the time he left there, and had a nice run. Now, if you'd have put that same Eli Manning quarterback at Tennessee at the same time,
right,
when Tennessee was winning all the games that they were, following up Peyton, you could have very easily gone on ahead and continued to compete for championships. So I say that, and if you want to go the route where you're giving yourself the best opportunity to not have to deal with an 8-5 season,
yes,
go to Alabama or Georgia.
Well,
you ain't necessarily you just necessarily don't have to be the key reason that they win ball games there. And I'm not saying that Bryce Young's not the reason that they win ball games at Alabama, but there's a whole lot of other reasons around him too for winning football games. And so I bet that weighs in there in the end. And if it's not one of those two, I'd be surprised.
But elite, again, when you're performing at an elite level and success breeds success and you got top players, this transfer portal, again, the people that thought that was going to bring others up to even playing field totally missed the boat. This is only making the strong stronger, because if you got the kid from Louisville that transferred to Alabama is a great example. He's at a program, and then now you got a top program like Alabama that wants you after you've gone and proven yourself. Well, naturally, you're going to go, if they want you, and say, hey, I can go there immediately and possibly be in contention for a national championship. They're picking what they want from. They're going out in the orchard first, and they're picking the best fruit. And then once they pick what they want and they've got a basket full, then everybody else has an opportunity. But you can forget a kid like that choosing to go to TCU or somewhere like that just for, craps and giggles. It's just not going to work that way. People had the wrong perception of this thing.
Well, it's going to just get bigger and bigger. And look, Auburn's taking advantage of that in basketball.
Oh, yeah, I'm going to get to that here in just a little. That's kind of where I was leading to. Caller, go ahead. You're on Saturday Sports Countdown.
Yes, this is Morris from Anniston.
Hey, Morris. How you doing, buddy?
Good to talk with you two guys this morning. I really enjoyed both of you. Y'all are always real interested. I I want to talk a little bit about the recruiting. I caught a little bit about that a minute or two ago. I used to be an avid recruiter like recruiting fan. Bought all the guides and all this stuff, and I'll give y'all a quick name, and I know both y'all remember a guy named Electron Williams.
Oh, yeah, from Biger.
And I know that goes back into probably the 90s. I'm trying to remember when he was highly recruited between Alabama and Auburn. And I was rolled up in a fetal position when Auburn got that guy. But over the years, I have become where I don't pay that much attention to recruiting. Now, there may be a player here and there, but just like quarterbacks, like Luke was talking about a few minutes ago, these two quarterbacks. But then you come up with somebody like Jay Barker. You come up with somebody like Mac Jones. You know, Mac Jones, I mean, I know he was kind of highly rated, but, you know, who would have thought he would have turned out to be like he is? And then when you have these kids that are going to be equal on each team, I think they sort of cancel each other out in a certain way. But my main interest is in the fall, before everything gets started up, is the injury list. Now, I don't know how y'all feel about that, but that has more to do with the football team than anything I can think of.
There's no doubt about it. I mean, you know, coming in off of a fall practice and fall camp, if you got some key guys that are hurt, Alabama's even proven that. We've talked about it. You know, there for a while, we used to say, why do you want to go to Alabama if you're this guy or this guy, you know, 3-4 deep in position? Well, Alabama's proven you can get hit in one position with 2 or 3 injuries. All of a sudden, your number's getting called. Even the most deep teams like a Georgia, Alabama out there, they can get hit in one position like a linebacker or a running back and be down to 3rd or 4th guy and not have any depth behind them and really cause them problems and kind of really kind of be an equalizer. So injuries are definitely a major key to success. And Alabama not been able to close the deal in the last couple of years on some championships because they've had some key players out.
Yeah, that's what I was getting at. I mean, like the defense, especially the last few years, and then, of course, the offense here during the playoffs. And I don't use that as an excuse, but I will say this. I think we would have beat Georgia if we'd have had even one of the receivers, but 2 of them, there ain't much doubt in my mind on that. But now they won the game. I'm not one of them guys that's looking for some way to crawfish. But I wanted to say this to Randy because I listen to him a lot, and I know he's Brian Harsin is on his mind in the recruiting. And I agree with what he's saying, and I'm kind of feel empathy with him in a certain way because during the Dubose era, I never could figure out why they hired Mike Dubose. And then when he got in that deal with his secretary and all that, I said he should have been fired. And I mean that. Yep. And, of course, I was in Red Elephant Club for many years and ran a lot of the big wheels and this, that, and other. And they, if we fire Mike Dubose, who we going to get? I said, well, they'll get somebody. And I think I proved to be correct that Dubose should have been gone. But I think Brian Harsin, as far as his football ability, I mean, I watched a lot of Auburn games this past season, and Auburn was in. And I can't recall my memories at the point. I can remember something 50 years ago, but I can't remember yesterday. But there were several games that I think Auburn actually, and I'm thinking of Penn State is one they should have won. And surely the Alabama game, kind of galls me to say that. But, you got to figure it just wasn't their day to lose that game. I mean, that game there, I had somebody watching it with me, and I'm not saying it hadn't happened before, but I told them, I said, we lost this game. But then when we came back, I told them, I said, if we get to overtime, we'll win it. And I never say that about Alabama. I don't think we're that good in overtime. But anyway, I enjoy you guys, Brett. I really enjoy you. You're extremely knowledgeable, and Randy, too. All y'all guys are. But I haven't found anything I disagree with Brett on yet, and I watch him a good bit, and that's saying a lot for me. I don't know whether that's good for him or not.
Hey, I'll pay you later, Morris, okay? I appreciate that.
Okay. You take care.
Hey, we appreciate your call every time. It's always good stuff. Thank you, buddy. Have a good weekend.
All right, bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Great caller. Been watching us, just found us about 2 months ago and watches us every time. And every time he calls, he adds a ton. Very knowledgeable. I love those kind of calls. So.
And I'll talk about his talk with me and Brian Harson and our recruiting on the other side of this.
Yeah, we'll go ahead and get the break. Stay tuned. More Saturday Sports Countdown right after this.
Whether it's Lake Martin, Lay Lake, or Logan Martin, boaters from all over the state of Alabama come to Alex City Marine, just off Highway 280 in Alexander City, Alabama, because it's worth the drive. With the best deals on unbeatable Suzuki outboards, Manitou and Landau tri-tunes, and a great pre-owned inventory while they last. Alex City Marine is the pros the locals know. And no matter where you're from, when you're here, you're local to us. Alex City Marine, just off Highway 280 in Alexander City, Alabama. AlexCityMarine.com.
Sign Source is your local vendor for commercial and residential sign manufacturing and installation. We offer all kinds of lighted and non-lighted signage, from retail signs, LED message centers, event banners, vehicle wraps, the whole spectrum. We also offer service and repair on existing signs, as well as retrofitting to LED or installation of outsourced signage. We have the knowledge necessary to fulfill all of your signage needs in the short or long term. Visit signsourcenow.com to get started.
Heritage South Credit Union in Alexander City is your community credit union, and they have been for over 80 years. Heritage South Credit Union proudly serves Tallapoosa, Coosa, Lee, Chambers, Randolph, and Chilton counties. From checking to business accounts, to share savings to club accounts, to their kids club and investments. Visit them online at myhscu.com. Heritage South Credit Union, your community credit union for 80 years. Federally insured by NCUA.
Planting season is here, and the Potting Shed Garden Center is happy to give you professional landscaping advice when it comes to planting your shrubs and trees. Auburn's best kept secret will have it all this fall. Mums, pansies, pumpkins, and much more. All an array of colors and sizes, along with beautiful pots and containers, indoor plants, and a great selection of other gardening gifts. It's all at the Potting Shed Garden Shop, where natural elements reign supreme. Located on the corner of Moore's Mill and Society Hill Road in Auburn.
Now is the best time to sell your current home, as it's a seller's market, meaning that on average you can get up to 96% of your asking price. Who's the most aggressive and most experienced to help you sell your home?
Hi, I'm Rhonda Gaskins, broker Century 21 Lake Area Realty in the Lake Martin area. We are getting a 96% return on our listing price to sales price in this area. Call me today and let me go to work for you. 256-749-3644.
GillsOpelika.info. Get pre-approved in minutes online at GillsOpelika.info for a pre-owned car, truck, or SUV from Gills Auto Sales, 1430 Gateway Drive in Opelika.
Welcome back, everyone, to the Saturday Sports Countdown presented by JR Sports Bar and Grill. Sunshine, heating, and air. Kind of going into what Morris said about your relationship with Brian Harson.
Well, it's I feel the same as Morris does. I think Carson, when I watch, and football knowledge. And
I think he's a good coach, X's and O's.
I do. I think he's a good X's and O's coach. I love the culture talk. I love any time that the mic's in front of him, what comes out of his mouth, the way that he presents it. All of the above, the no-nonsense approach to players, and if you don't want to be at Auburn, head on out. I mean, I like all of those approaches. I think the proof will be in the pudding when it comes to recruiting. And unfortunately, he's starting from way behind. I ran down those numbers. You know, Auburn's got 70-some-odd players on scholarship. They got 1 5-star. The rest are split right down the middle between 4 and 3 stars. The lead competition that you have year in and year out are Alabama, LSU, and Georgia. Alabama's got 14 5-stars. Georgia's got 19. So they got 33 between them with our 1. It's tough. I don't know how good of a coach that you have to be consistently to overcome that type of talent discrepancy. And it doesn't mean you can at Auburn. When we got them at home, Alabama or Georgia, we play them extremely well. And It doesn't matter the talent discrepancy, but the problem is you can go back to that game, and us Auburn fans, we like to do things like that. But you lose the fact that you went 6-7. You lost a lot of teams that Alabama and Georgia would never even be in the game with.
That's right.
When it's not at Jordan-Hare Stadium, which is where we seem to play pretty good football, and we can get up to par with some of these other programs. So, but my main worry is you've got those two. I can deal with losing to those two. I can't stomach it for my entire life, but for the short term until we get to the. But the South Carolina losses, to watch what's going on at Texas A&M, for anyone that's sitting here like us that see them signing 7 and 8 5-stars and putting together the top class in the country and wanting to throw darts at Jimbo Fisher for what he did to finish off his regime there at Florida State. I want to do that, but that guy's always recruited.
He has, but he's got the same exact record as Kevin Sumlin 4 years into a team. I mean, identical.
But signs point.
Well, it does. Not last year. The year before, 2020, he had a really good year. He fell a game short behind Alabama. But last year, he reverted back to Jimbo Fisher, four losses. And, yes, they recruited at a different level this year, and they'll start to see some dividends. But he's going to have to start cashing in. I mean, you can't do this 1 year. This is a flash in the pan. Can Texas A&M go back next year and recruit the same way? Because Georgia Alabama's going to do it every year. That's the difference. When he's had a great quarterback, he's almost like some other coaches we know. When you put a superstar quarterback, you take the Jameis Winston years away from Jimbo Fisher, and you see what kind of coach he is. Total. They are poised. They really have no excuse. Facilities, money, recruiting, everything but the wins in the W column. They've got everything but closing the deal. Can they get over the hump this year? We'll see. But going back and saying, to kind of add to what you said with Alabama and Georgia, the thing that's always griped me, and I've said this on this show since day one.
Yes.
You know where I'm going. It's not about beating Alabama and Georgia every year. If you can get your fair share in there, that's good. It's the hiccups with Arkansas, Mississippi State, South Carolina, teams that like you just said, it has to be an epiphany for them to beat Alabama. That's where Auburn's mindset should be. You should be going, okay, Alabama and Georgia, yeah, they got the namesake of the state. They've kind of separated themselves. They're doing something. Nick Saban's a once-in-a-century coach. We just got to deal with it, okay? We've done good enough to get the wins that we've gotten, but we shouldn't be losing to Mississippi State at home when we're up double digits. We should not go on the road to South Carolina, who's horrific, and lose to them because we've got more talent and our program's better than them.
But the issue is, if you look at talent, it's on the squad now. It's not a lot better.
But I'm saying,
I'm saying historically and mentally,
but we've done this for 20 years. We've laid eggs against teams that we should. The Tennessee year in 2018, the Tennessee team, when we had Jarrett Stidham coming back off the 17 year, you used to lay the hard-boiledest egg you can lay at home to a horrible Tennessee team, man. That's the stuff that gets under my skin. That's the difference in going 7-5, 8-4, and 9-3 and 10-2 every year. That's the difference. You take the Ole Miss blunder here, or the Mississippi State blunder, or the South Carolina blunder, and this, that, and the other two times a year, and we're sitting there going, well, Auburn wins 9-10 games every year.
Well, what worries me, though.
Now it's gotten away from us.
What worries me is the discrepancy between our talent and theirs is not as vast as it once was.
That's what I'm saying. It's getting away from us a little bit now. So we were underachieving because we had better talent back then and we'd lay an egg. Now your talent level is not as good. Yeah, it's not as good as it was, and so you're going to be in more dog fights with those teams because you got a roster makeup that looks similar to theirs.
Yes, that's what I'm trying to say, and trying to say it as nicely as I can without being the Auburn guy.
Look, I'm not trying to hurt somebody's
I don't want to be the Auburn guy that's always negative. Trust me, I don't want to be that way. I mean, you'll never hear a negative word come out of my mouth about Auburn basketball. from now until the end of Bruce Pearl's time.
Right.
We lost a bad NCAA game, but my gosh, you know how thrilled I am just to think that we're in that. And to watch what he's doing marketing and recruiting for this program. Any ignorant idiot like myself that comes up and says anything negative toward him should have darts thrown at him. But the football program right now has taken a step back when it comes to getting talent in. I don't think from an X's and O's standpoint and from an assistant coach's standpoint that we've taken a step back. I like those guys. I want them to succeed. But I do not hear the buzz. There are kids of interest here in this state that are talking about Auburn, but none are committed.
But here's the thing, and when you look at recruiting services, there is not a list of 20 top 4 and 5 stars that have Auburn leading leading as a decision. It's not. Whereas in the last 10 years, you'd look down through there and 8 or 10 top players that have Auburn as their leader. Now you're trying to find somebody that's got them listed in their top 5.
And here's what a coach can do. Now when I look at a top 10 high school basketball player and they don't have Auburn listed,
you're shocked.
I'm wondering, like.
And then you used to, if we had somebody listed and you was in shock.
Now in my mental, I'm like, he must have just not liked something about him.
Julian Phillips, here's the thing. Julian Phillips canceled his visit to Kansas State. So it's pretty much, everybody kind of already knows he's coming to Auburn. So we're about to pick up another 5-star. On top of Johnny Broom, who was the number 1 guy in the transfer portal, who's coming to Auburn. On top of who Auburn already had coming in Chance Westry and Trey Donaldson. And what we got coming back.
It's a miracle.
I mean, this is ridiculous. You just lost Jabari Smith and everybody went, all right. I mean, used to, we went, well, hey, we ain't going to be good for 10 years. You know, that guy left. That was a flash in the pan. But now it's just like, okay, you know, we'll be all right. We'll get 4 or 5 more that'll fill the bucket. I mean, this roster will be even more talented than last year's. Seriously. I mean, when you look at it. And so when you do that, I mean, you're going to put yourself in the conversation of being one of the top teams in the country to compete for a national championship. That's exactly what Bruce Pearl's done. I mean, he's going out and he's getting these guys, and he's not done. There's still a spot left. Who's going to get that? Well, he's picking from this list over here that's nothing but 4 and 5 stars rather than flip it over to football, taking what you can get right now. Who you can convince. Auburn's got to flip the script by getting 1 or 2 of these top players in the state. They got to build some momentum. They got to sell out on some guys that they really need and say, look, I need you to come to Auburn and get us where we need to be. And you are the player to lead that charge, and that momentum's going to have to build, and that guy's going to have to bring 2 or 3 with him. So you got to find the right guy. Until then, you're going to be grasping at straws and hoping, throwing mud up against the wall and hoping it sticks. There's no rhyme or reason. They've got to get some of these top players in this state. It starts here if he wants to try to flip the script. So up against another break. Stay tuned. More Saturday Sports Countdown right after this.
Brubaker Motors in Montgomery is the largest and fastest growing used car dealership in the River Region. You can absolutely get a better buy at Brubaker. It's better at Brubaker.com.
Brubaker, Brubaker.
You can absolutely get a better buy at Brubaker.
BREWBAKER. BREWBAKER.com.
It's better at Brubaker.com.
At CNT Electric, our clients are our priority. For the safety and security of your family and home, our technicians are professionally trained, drug tested, background checked, and wear uniforms with name tags. We're proud to have served the Elk City, Dadeville, and Lake Martin areas for the past 10 years. Give us a call at 256-234-0007 for all your electrical service and repair needs, or visit us on the web at www.cntelectricllc.com and spell out the word "and."
L&G Ad Agency is the go-to vendor for all your digital and print marketing needs. We have in-house production for all projects, including graphic design, web design, social media marketing, videography, and print marketing. Our video production is up to industry standard, with modern 4K cameras and drone capabilities. We pride ourselves in client-committed relationships, and every project is personalized to your needs. Visit lmgadagency.com for a free quote today. Let us tell your story.
For almost 10 years, there's been the go-to place for tires and automotive repair, Right Tire. Right Tire sells all makes of tires for anyone's vehicle and anyone's budget, and with Right Tire, you always get the right prompt service with the right price. Right Tire also can handle all of your bumper-to-bumper automotive needs with certified brake service, alignment, oil changes, tune-ups, and so much more. So when you want tires and automotive done right, see Right Tire on West Fort Williams in the heart of Sylacauga. Right work, right price, every time.
Life is a sequence of little successes. The story of my Southern Union success began the day I walked on campus, making new friends, mastering a new skill, reaching a personal goal, the encore performance, the first date, the internship, and now, soon, the dream job. That's the story of my Southern Union success. Register for classes and get ready to watch your Southern Union story come to life.
Become a member of the Superior family. Superior GMC Cadillac, Superior Hyundai, or Superior Automotive Pre-Owned. Between our 3 dealers in East Central Alabama, we offer the superior selection and service for any buyer's needs. All with the personal touch of being locally family-owned and operated. Check out any of our dealers online, or our 3 great lots in Anniston on Quintard, or our pre-owned superstore in Pell City, and join the Superior family of value.
Welcome back, everyone, to the Saturday Sports Countdown. Very short segment right here. Got to catch up. Got to get one more break in before the end of the program. So we're just talking about Deion Sanders off the air. So I'll make a few comments regarding his comments on the NIL. Does not like the NIL. And now let me say this about Deion. I think Deion could be a phenomenal coach at a Power 5 school, and I think he's going to have that opportunity. But at Jackson State, he's coming out saying basically, you know, this NIL thing sets programs like Jackson State and all the smaller schools back even further, and it does. He doesn't like that. Now, will he like NIL when he's got, you know, $150 million at his disposal at a big school? He'll probably change his tune. Now, I'll say this about Deion. If anybody knew marketing way back when, it was him. Anybody that fed off endorsements and things like that, prime time and the commercials and all, he did it. He understands the game. At his current position, he's right. If he's going to stay at Jackson State and Jackson State's trying to grow and become a power, then NIL has set that school back along with all the other smaller schools back because they just don't have the resources and all to pull from like the Power Fives. Now, if he shifts over and goes to, you know, if he ends up at Auburn one day or he ends up at his alma mater at Florida State one day and he's got all this money at his disposal, his mindset's probably going to be different about it.
I think he's what a lot of these programs need. You need a marketer. You need somebody that can go out, get in front of people, and sell a vision and sell all the things that it takes to get kids to come to your campus.
That's probably more important now with the structure of college football than somebody knowing X's
Which
and
is the
O's.
reason
I mean,
on Tuesday I said that I was surprised that he said that of anybody because I
But
think,
it's his state of where he is.
But I think he can play that game.
Oh, he will. Like I said,
maybe
he'll
better
turn it-
than anyone
He'll
else.
change his mind if he's got the money at his disposal. But he's trying to say, at my current situation at Jackson State, I'm trying to build a program. This NIL thing's about made it impossible. Because now, if I got this kid and I've got him convinced to come, but somebody swoops in and says, well, I'll pay you $8 million, like Tennessee did the kid from California, then he's going to go take that money. And Jackson State don't have those kind of resources. So that's what he's saying. Now, if the shoe's on the other foot and he's out there with the money in the back, and his whole tune's probably changing there. So it's all about where you are. And there's no doubt that Deion's going to end up at Power 5 school, probably Florida State at the end of the day, because I think that's probably his ultimate dream is to go back and coach at his alma mater where he played. And I think he'll be in a hotbed of recruiting. He'll have resources at his disposal. He's probably the most liked alumni at Florida State. heck, man, he's going to go down there and kick tail. It's coming. So, top marketers out there, yeah, you got to know the game of football, but you got to have somebody to give your program. Now, look, you can say what you want to about Lane Kiffin, but Lane Kiffin's always in the he gives so much exposure to Ole Miss just because of what he does and tweets and how he does stuff. He's just always out there. You got somebody's dead wood. You may be a good football coach. You got dead wood out there. Your program's falling behind on the marketing standpoint. That's what it takes to get people's attention. Up against the final break of the program. Stay tuned. Saturday Sports Countdown right after this.
So, you finally got the boat, ATV, or side-by-side of your dreams, huh? Then make it yours with marine-grade audio that'll provide crisp, high-quality sound that's loud enough to be heard, whether you're cruising on the lake or hitting a mud hole. Come see Steve at the Car Stereo Shop in Auburn, so you'll be ready to crank up the volume. Whoa, but wait, you don't have to pull out of the water and trailer it to Auburn. The Car Stereo Shop can handle all of your work at any one of the Lake Martin marinas.
Finding a job might be tough, but starting your new career has never been easier. Wellborn Cabinet in Ashland has a wide array of career opportunities with benefits. General labor production, skilled cabinet builders, product assembly line, shipping, over-the-road truck drivers, clerical, marketing, security, daycare, office clerks, and so much more. Apply in person, 38669 Highway 77 South in Ashland, or online at wellborn.com. Building cabinets, building careers, and building our community.
At Russell Medical, our transitional care unit is a great alternative to nursing home care after a medical or surgical hospital stay. Transitional care increases strength and endurance through skilled nursing and therapy programs to promote a safe return home. Enjoy on-site therapy, private rooms, an activity center, and more. Call Russell Medical today to see if our transitional care unit is the right care for you.
Skag, the toughest name in lawnmowers. Unmatched quality and performance for over 3 decades. The clear choice, the best mower money can buy for work or at home. Top lawn care professionals and discerning homeowners know that Skag means productivity and reliability. Every Skag mower is proudly built right here in the USA. Don't settle for anything less than simply the best. Skag.
Satterfield Outdoor Living on Highway 280 in Alex City.
Something big is coming. Something so big, it'll change the world of chicken sandwiches. Zaxby's new signature sandwich with Zax sauce or new spicy Zax sauce. Because the chicken sandwich war ain't over yet. The new signature sandwich. All the other little sandwiches can run along. We'll take it from here.
Welcome back, everyone. Final segment here on Saturday Sports Countdown. Hey, good news for Auburn Gymnastics.
Yeah.
Both freshmen, Suni Lee and Darian, coming back to be part of the gymnastics program.
And more coming in.
Oh, yeah. So, I mean, what's the price of Suni Lee to Auburn right now?
Oh, I wouldn't even know where to begin. I mean, you and I have had that conversation on a couple of these quarterbacks. What's their price? And some may say that the Mannings don't need the money. Anyone that says that a certain family or a business group doesn't need the money and so they just don't take the money that's the most ridiculous thing. Because once they learn how to play the game, they just play it better than everybody else, and they just keep playing it. So the idea that they're not going to take advantage of NIL that's humorous. Heck, they got plenty of money. They don't want any more. Yeah, okay. Yeah,
I have not run across anybody that has told me that in their lifetime. So, yeah, you're going to take what you can get when you can get it.
And most of the time you know how to play the game.
But, know, here's a positive about NIL. Or the new rule change in NCAA is that previously SUNY would not have been able to even attend and compete in college.
I know it.
Because she would no longer been an amateur athlete, and because she would have been offered endorsement. As soon as she took endorsement deals as being an Olympian, she'd have been out. So,
and she had a great freshman year. But she wasn't a dominating.
She was a national champion.
Yeah, but my point, though, is, like, that tells you how good college gymnastics is.
Oh, of course it is. Absolutely. Now, she rose Auburn's level up big
She
time.
did. I'm not knocking her at all, but I think it was eye-opening to a lot of us to see that she's the all-around champion at the Olympics. She comes to a college like Auburn. She does win an event. She's not the overall national champion, and her team doesn't win the championship, even though they went further than they ever have. I'm not knocking her, but it is the point of how good college gymnastics really is.
But I tell you, it is, and it tells you that, a lot of the teams that Auburn competed against had a lot of juniors and seniors.
Still my point.
Auburn mostly freshmen, so hopefully even better days to come ahead for them. But it's a good start getting Darian and Suni back on there. Alabama back in action today with LSU trying to snap that 4-game skid. Auburn trying to get one back from Arkansas. They let get away from them last night. If they can get this one on Saturday, you really you should roll the dice out there and see what you get on Sunday. You get like your chances with Joseph Gonzalez pitching for you, and as good as he's been. Really only one rough inning for him at Tennessee last week. Settled down and kind of cruised the rest of the way. Auburn came back and tied that game, ended up losing in the 9th inning. But if Auburn can win today, you feel good about their chances of winning the series against Arkansas. And if Auburn ends up winning 3 of these games out of the last 6 between Tennessee and Arkansas, you got to feel real good about what this program's doing heading into postseason. So that's going to wrap it up for this edition of Saturday Sports Countdown. Again, want to thank everybody for joining us each and every Saturday. Want to again say thank you to JR Sports Bar and Grill and Sunshine Heating and Air for always being our corporate partners. Want to say happy Mother's Day again to all of you mothers out there. Hope it's a wonderful weekend for all of you. For Randy Lee and Brett Pritchard saying we've enjoyed it. We hope you have. See you next time.
Don't be caught in a dirty vehicle. Lake Martin Mobile Detailing will have your vehicle or boat looking like brand new in no time, and you'll be back driving in style. They specialize in detailing, paint correction, gel coat restoration, and ceramic coating. Take it to the professionals at Lake Martin Mobile Detailing. Call them today at 256-794-2328 or stop by and see them at 702 McCarty Road in Dadeville. Mention this ad and receive $10 off. Lake Martin Mobile Detailing for your cleanest vehicles around.
Tails are wagging and pets are bragging about Zoom to Groom. Columbus, Phoenix City, and Smith Station. Zoom to Groom comes to you. It's mobile pet grooming from the comfort of your driveway. Schedule your appointment now online at zoomtogroom.net or by phone at 334-740-9909.
They say we live in an age of big data, where computers and fancy algorithms are supposed to know you best. But at Country Financial, we know helping you own your future requires, well, something much bigger. Contact your local Country Financial representative and start planning for your future with a personal touch.
Hi, John. You have messages.
Not now, phone. I'm driving.
You know you want to text your friends.
Texting and driving is illegal. No distractions, period. People die that way. Eating, putting on makeup.
Scroll through your music?
Nope.
Your girlfriend just texted. She's bored.
Sorry, not worth dying for.
Good call. She seems a little clingy.
Don't text your life goodbye. Drive safe, Alabama. A message from your Alabama Department of Transportation.
Are you looking for something really good for lunch? Are you tired of the same old fast food? Well, go to Buck's. Get a meat and 2 sides or a meat and 3 sides for the best deal in town. Buck's always serves up the best food, including fried chicken, wings, hamburger steaks, catfish, shrimp, and yes, of course, the famous Buck Cheeseburger Basket. And Buck's has dinner specials too. So if it's your turn to cook dinner, Buck's will be glad to do it for you. We appreciate your business and look forward to serving you.
Whoever you are, wherever you race, hit the track like a champion. The YZ250F and the YZ450F Monster Energy Yamaha Racing Editions. Only from Yamaha.
Farmers and Merchants Bank of Dadeville is building a foundation of strength and trust in the entire Lake Martin community. With our modern branch in Dadeville and caring, attentive staff, we've established Farmers and Merchants Bank as a reliable friend to your banking needs. Whether it's just a savings or checking account or any commercial, auto, or real estate loan, Farmers has local decision making to build a relationship with you and your needs. Farmers and Merchants Community Bank. Strength, service, community.
Tails are wagging and pets are bragging about Zoom to Groom. Columbus, Phoenix City, and Smith Station. Zoom to Groom comes to you. It's mobile pet grooming from the comfort of your driveway. Schedule your appointment now online at zoomtogroom.net or by phone at 334-740-9909.